Misfortune, A Story of Suspicious Friendships is a horror game for the PS1 that released in 1996, and it hates itself. And you. In fact, toward the end of the game, a character suddenly looks directly into the camera and addresses you, the player, to say this. Ah, you, still watching out there? Yes, you're the one that's really having all of the fun tonight, right? It's just a story after all. Even if you stop playing, nothing bad will happen to you, probably. You can sleep easy tonight. At least I think so. By the way, it's absolutely fine to badmouth this game to everyone you know. I don't care. Say whatever you like. Tell them how awful it is, write a mean review. Nothing bad will happen to you, obviously. This game, is it threatening me? So let's take a look at how a game that started production in 1994 became so cynical of its own audience. It's a Japanese game, and to those who have actually played it, it is classified as kusage, or a shitty game. And obviously, even the game itself knows that it's going to be perceived this way. The game's reviews and scores could have been way worse. Often, at the very least, critics could appreciate the weirdness of it all. However, Misfortune was correct in identifying that it was the audience, the people paying money for the game, that would be a bit less gentle towards it. Misfortune was made by Idea Factory and directed by Shingo Kuwana. Kuwana is on record in an interview having said that the early days at Idea Factory when this game was being developed were, quote, nothing but tough times. And that sentiment is very clearly reflected throughout the game. Now, this game does not have an official US release, it only came out in Japan, so I played a patched English version. Misfortune is really more of a visual novel than a game, but it is also a giant puzzle. While playing, you can choose to zap around between characters, which I guess is kind of a unique mechanic, but all it does is jumble up the already convoluted story. The characters of Misfortune are really what make the game interesting. They're completely insane. When the game begins, you have the option to pick between one of two characters to start the story, with 5 characters available in total. Unlike another game that I know of where there's just endless character choice. In fact, there are literally over 800 playable characters to choose from in this game that I'm talking about, so quite a big upgrade there. You could be playing this game right now while you watch this video because it's available on iOS, Android, and PC. Come here, you want some free stuff? You don't even have to meet me in some shady, dark back alley, I'll just give you a code. So if you'd like some free stuff, keep watching. Any new users will also get great bonuses from using my link or scanning the QR code. Raid Shadow Legends has blessed us here today, chat. Its presence is a sign of fertile ground, an omen of good things to come. If you've heard of Raid before, but you haven't actually tried playing it yet, you really should. It's genuinely fun to play, and the characters are great. Even the freebie starting characters. Just look at this guy, Kale, he's my boy. He's strong, handsome, he's got a thick staff, he's got poison dots, he'll carry you quite a long way. For real, if you do download the game, you gotta try him out. Like when you're picking a character in the beginning, you gotta pick Kale, because he's easily one of the best starting characters. Also, there's really cool Alice's Adventures in Wonderland stuff. Alice, Cheshire Cat, Mad Hatter, Knave of Hearts, and the fearsome Queen of Hearts. Each character has their own strengths and uses in fights. Alice is a great attacker and disruptor, and the Cheshire Cat is great at boosted attacks, manipulating speed, and chain turns. Both are dangerous forces in both PvE and PvP, whichever suits your playstyle. When you join using my raid link or QR code, you'll also get a huge starter pack. This will include the legendary Elenaril, and playing to level 15 will get you this orc Tagoar. On top of that, I've got 4 promo codes here for legendary characters that you can add to your account for free. Choose wisely as you can only redeem one. Turvold, Alice, Cheshire Cat, and Razzlevarg. Personally, I'd recommend choosing the Cheshire Cat because he's iconic and powerful, and also he's a cat. These champions are available for 48 hours after downloading the game for free from my link below or this QR code. My link is superior to the App Store. You can find me in-game at Earlybird Raid. Using my link or QR code really helps out the channel, plus these free characters won't be around forever, so be sure to claim them now. So there's a few things right off the bat that make Misfortune, shall we say, unique. Naming the protagonist only gives you 4 character slots, so I am now Earl. My name is Earl. Then there's like a silver futuristic robot, and she portrays the game as like a TV show episode or something, but this never comes up again. IFTV's first ever show, Misfortune, A Story of Suspicious Friendships, will now begin. IF here, of course, is Idea Factory, the company that put together the game. And by the way, they are still very much alive, and they still constantly put out visual novels. So despite Misfortune being one of their first games and not doing too hot, it certainly did not kill them. Next up, rather than getting straight into the game, we have a Save Nature PSA. Get used to this because Misfortune takes breaks at the most random times to make sure that you are thinking about the Earth and its well-being. This LSD simulator shit is just kinda here for some reason. I honestly don't know why. A white rabbit in a suit in a psychedelic room says, "Welcome to the realm of nightmares." I chose to play all of the characters' stories in order, so let's begin with Earl's story. When the hands of the clock proudly point to midnight, Earl heads through the darkness to his old elementary school to keep a promise he made to his friends who are waiting for him. The beautiful but cold girl is Kyoko, and the cute one is Kana-chan. These girls were Earl's classmates in elementary school, but as soon as he arrives, he feels something behind him, a horrible sensation. I chose the option to look back. Oh, it's just another of Earl's old classmates with a jack-in-the-box. Hideaki is apparently a bit of a prankster and always has been. Everyone is gathering together to dig up an old time capsule that they buried at the school many years ago. Due to an incident, the school has been closed for a year, which is why they have to meet at night to sneak in to exhume the capsule. But one friend had not yet arrived. Yuichi arrives late and looks like a rejected Tim Burton design. Yuichi, at least according to Earl's perspective, has a kind heart but isn't any good at keeping promises. He was studying to become a doctor, but it seems that he's not exactly the type of person to be known to have enough motivation to accomplish something like that. It doesn't seem like Earl has very much confidence in him despite liking him. Yuichi hands out drinks to everyone as an apology for being late, then hurries off into the school telling everyone that he would quickly go and fetch the time capsule. Yes, I promise I'm going to say capsule normally. It's very hard for me, but I'm going to try. It has been nearly 2 years since Overblood 2, and I cannot get capsule out of my head. I promise I will not say capsule the rest of the video. I think I have it out of my system. Probably. Anyway, Yuichi is gone for quite a long time. The rest of the group starts getting a bit anxious. It really shouldn't take as long as it has to go and grab the time capsule. The scream was definitely Yuichi. The gang starts to panic a little bit. What if something bad happened? Earl-kun takes it upon himself to calm everyone down. The two options that the game gives you are to be a good role model by staying calm yourself, or by doing this. My silly face did not go down well at all. Yeah, I can't imagine why. Hideaki and Kyoko volunteer to go check on Yuichi and make sure he's okay. They seem confident, almost like they're enjoying such a predicament, while Earl and Kana stay behind. They joke that this could be their last goodbye, and that Earl and Kana should come looking for them if no one hears from them within 10 minutes. Earl is thrilled at the prospect of having a moment alone with Kana. They discuss how bullying has become a big problem. Kana admits that she, Kyoko, and Hideaki used to bully Yuichi pretty badly when they were younger. They used to make Yuichi carry their bags and they'd call him a pig. She says it hurts her heart to even think about it and hopes that Yuichi wasn't ever angry with them, which I kinda doubt that. Kana starts yammering on about a combination, 7 right, 5 left, then 8 right. This is a hint for a puzzle, of course, and Kana literally states that it was revealed to her in a dream, so it's very good information, I guess. The yappers keep yapping, and when Earl-kun looks at his watch, he realizes 20 minutes have passed, which isn't good because they promised to check on the gang at 10 minutes. With a bit of hesitance, they head inside of the dark school. Inside the school, shit's kinda spooky, and despite efforts to be very careful, Earl-kun has been ambushed. Confused, he wonders for a moment at who could have done this. Maybe Kana? But no, surely it wasn't her. As he regains his consciousness, he hears someone saying, "Welcome to Shigeru's room." The mysterious, freaky little guy has Earl tied up to a chair. He says, "Hee hee hee, how may I assist you today, sir?" Earl is shocked and doesn't answer, and the mystery fellow responds by saying that if he has no requests, that he'll just hack up his body. So naturally, as anyone would do in this situation, Earl requests either a haircut or his beard to be shaved. Earl's captor pulls out a box cutter ominously. But it turns out that this guy is just some kind of barber that's in the abandoned school for, I don't know, reasons? He states that he found Earl collapsed in the hallway and just took it upon himself to give him a haircut to practice his barber skills. After freshening up Earl's hair, he lets him go, and immediately Earl runs off to look for Kana and/or the time capsule. Exploring the dark hallways of the school gets eerier and creepier with no one else in sight. It's oddly quiet. Eventually, Earl makes it to where the time capsule was buried. None of his other friends are there, and before he has a chance to take a look at it, he hears a sound. Man, what the fuck? Okay, that's like actually scary. That startled me. I don't like that. Earl rightfully runs the fuck away and kites the horrific pig monster away from the time capsule so that he can dig it up. However, when he gets back, the capsule is nowhere to be found. It looks as if someone else had dug it up already. There's nothing but a hole in the ground, but it does look as if something is still in there. Yes, Misfortune really does play the screaming cutscene over and over this many times, and if I had to see it 5 trillion times, so do you. We're in this together. Earl assumes that the bug must have been a prank left there by whoever took the capsule. In fact, he starts thinking that this whole night must just be a huge prank. That is, until he notices a dark figure growing closer. What Earl saw was absolutely horrific. But we don't need to see that right now. We need to be reminded to be environmentally conscious. Remember in the beginning how I said Misfortune really likes to make weird nature PSAs? Yeah, these just pop up and happen completely at random. Let's conserve the world's resources and save energy. Brought to you by Idea Factory. Man, fuck the Earth. This is the thing that's coming after Earl-kun. It moves closer and closer. It's described as having a blank face, skin glistening with moisture, and flesh that stinks like rotten fish. Follow me, it somehow says without a mouth. I have no mouth and I must speak. The creature leads Earl through the school and eventually into a room with a horrific scene. 2 men hanging from the walls, their pale faces unmoving. You've finally arrived, says Yuichi, who is apparently dressed like a doctor. There's surgical equipment all over the room. Yuichi is covered in blood and calls this space his makeup room. He tells Earl that he's already performed 2 procedures in the room. Both were difficult for him, but proved to be successful. To make matters worse, Earl upon closer inspection realizes that the 2 hanging bodies are actually Kyoko and Hideaki. Horrified, he asks if Yuichi was the one that had done this. Yuichi is like, don't worry about them, they're fine, I'll fix them up later or something, I guess. Suddenly, Yuichi orders the featureless creature to open some gas cylinders in the back. The monster obeys immediately. Yuichi announces that his game of orders will now begin. Rule number 1, if Earl tries to attack him, he can't guarantee the survival of Hideaki and Kyoko. Rule 2, he promises to release them both as long as Earl answers a single question. Earl tells Yuichi to stop messing around and reminds him that Hideaki and Kyoko are his friends. My friends? Friends? Friends, you say? The people that called me a pig and laughed at me are my friends? You're the one messing around. I couldn't care less what happens to them, says Yuichi. So, yeah, clearly he was a little bit upset about the bullying. With no other choice, Earl agrees to play along with the game. Yuichi asks his question. What was the wish that I put into the time capsule? You have 1 hour to find the answer. If your time runs out, I'll dispose of these 2. Hurrying back to where the capsule was buried, worries flood Earl's mind. He mentally comments that he'll harm Yuichi if he hurts his friends. Kana meets him at the hole in the ground. He tells her all about the strange things he's seen. She says she saw Kyoko and that she had been turned into a monster. Earl explains that it was all Yuichi's doing and that he had to find out what his wish was to help save her. Kana pulls a piece of paper out of her pocket. My Wish by Yuichi, Year 6, Class 3. Hideaki kicked me in the stomach again yesterday. He said, you need to diet, and made me run 10 laps around the school playing field. Kyoko sent me a love letter. I was so happy. When I went to say thank you, she screamed at me, go away, you idiot. Hideaki wrote the love letter to trick me. Earl-kun and Kana-chan started laughing at me and all I could do was cry. God, if you're real, please hear my wish. It's only a small thing. Everyone... ... But of course the paper was ripped and the rest of the sentence was missing. Kana starts to worry that perhaps Yuichi actually really hated them. Which, yeah, it sounds like you guys didn't treat him very nicely, so I don't know what you expected. Earl and Kana return to Yuichi. Even though the note was cut off, they have a few guesses as to what his wish may have been. Unfortunately, Yuichi has lost his shit and orders the blank doll monster to attack them anyway. From here, there are a ton of options and paths that Earl's story can take, like a lot. There's so many things, for real. A lot of these paths are kind of nonsensical or really similar to each other, so I'll just go over some of the more interesting ones. In one ending for Earl, the school explodes and catches on fire. Kyoko, Hideaki, and Earl are all declared dead. Yuichi and Kana survive, but Kana was revealed to have helped start the fire because she loves Yuichi. She goes so far as to say that he's the only person she truly loved. If that feels like it came out of nowhere, that's because it did. In another potential path, it's revealed that Yuichi just had everyone under hypnosis to teach them a lesson. On another path, Yuichi successfully kills everyone, but blames all of the murders on Earl. In yet another, the school still catches fire, and Earl wakes up in the hospital. His parents tell him that his wonderful friends shielded him from the fire with their own bodies. There are several more possibilities, but they're all kind of similar. You get the idea. We don't have enough clues to solve the puzzle just yet to truly understand what's happening. Next up is Kana's story. The story from Kana's perspective begins with a little glisten in her eye. Hearts swarm around her head and she confesses that she's deeply in love with Earl-kun, the man of her dreams. There's a little recap about everyone meeting at the school. We learn that Kyoko volunteers to go into the school with Hideaki to look for Yuichi because she knows that Kana likes Earl and wants to be God's greatest wingman. The events leading up to them entering the school play out pretty much the same. Plus, some extra Kana commentary about how handsome she thinks Earl is. This is a beautiful little frog man. The conversations do change a little bit as now we're making choices as Kana, the ultimate Riz Lord. Everyone take note, because this is how you flirt. If you ever get time alone with your beloved, you gotta tell him about stuff like this. Kana tells Earl a story all about how she had a friend named Nogu that used to have a really cute white cat. One day, the adorable kitty came home totally drenched from the rain. And apparently Nogu tried to dry her off by putting her in the microwave. And then for some unholy reason, the game just shows the charred cat. What is happening? But you don't understand, it doesn't actually just show you the cat, it just flashes for 2 frames. It's so strange. This time around, we get to see what happens to Kana when Earl was with the mysterious hairdresser. She's also hit over the head, but she wakes up in a cave. She comes across an old safe and recalls stories that she used to hear. The story was of a child that was mercilessly bullied. Apparently that's the theme of this game. The bullies would fill her desk drawer with sand and then dump it all over her head to torment her. One day, the leader of the group of bullies went missing. From then on, there was a rumor that the girl locked the bully away in a safe in the abandoned air raid shelter under the school. And the safe, they said, was full of sand. Now, if you recall from the previous story, Kana had a code revealed to her in a dream. I'm a genius with a big brain, so when that number got mentioned, I took a picture of the code and was able to open up the safe. This is where Kana got the paper that had Yuichi's ripped up wish. The safe also contained the wishes of the other characters. Kana wished that Earl would finally notice her. Earl wished that everyone would stay friends even after they graduate. Hideaki wished to become someone people respected across the world. Oh, and Kyoko? Kyoko also loves Earl-kun, and her wish is that he falls in love with her. What drama. Kana shoves the paper back into the safe and is like, geez, fuck, I sure hope no one ever finds that. Eventually, Kana finds her way out of the tunnel and back up into the school where she hears a terrifying noise. There before her was an absolutely ghastly sight, but first, don't you freaking dare forget to conserve the world's resources and save energy, brought to you by Idea Factory. Kana, the creature shrieked. The voice was nauseating, but for some reason it sounded like Kyoko. Kana, where are you? Come out, please, it wailed. The creature cries, convincing Kana that she really is Kyoko, but that Yuichi had transformed her into this monster with a gruesome surgery. She tells Kana that it's dangerous. I'm not sure that really needed to be stated, but Kana hurries to find Earl. On her quest to reunite, Kana vows that she's done for good with being scared and her feet hurt from running away. She will be brave to find her friends. Well, until she bumps into the weird haircutting guy, that is. He casually explains that he's a ghost that died in the school with unresolved things to do, and so he was stuck here. And since he just happened to bump into Earl and give him a haircut, he lets her know that he was headed to the courtyard. She meets him there and the same events play out. They confront Yuichi, and for Kana, there's the same weird assortment of kind of unrelated endings. In one ending, she gets stuck in the doctor room and Yuichi experiments on Kana for an undetermined amount of time. Presumably forever. In some endings, everyone dies in the fire, in some, Kana is stuck eternally in her dreams, so on and so forth. There's a bunch of random ones. Still, we don't have the necessary information to understand what's truly going on and what the real ending of the game is. Which means it's time for Kyoko's story. She describes herself as being just an ordinary girl, the kind you could meet anywhere. Her story begins exactly the same, with an emphasis on knowing that Kana likes Earl and the fact that Yuichi gave them drinks before he headed into the school. Once she and Hideaki head into the school to look for him, they both start feeling real sick. Like, ate too much at Taco Bell and now you're gonna die sick. They urgently start seeking out a bathroom. Kyoko immediately suspects the drinks. Inside the girl's bathroom, she gets a shot in the neck and wakes up in the surgery room with Yuichi, who calls her a horrible failure and screams at her to get out of his sight. As she runs from him, she steps on a piece of glass. Looking down at her feet, she sees the reflection of the monster she's become. She picks up a hammer and smashes the shard of glass into pieces until she can't see herself anymore. She cries and repeats, "I'm a monster, I'm a monster." And I don't know, I just kind of started to feel bad. Look how sad she looks. Poor little pig person. Suddenly she hears a noise. Earl and Kana are coming down the hall. Horrified at the thought of being seen in this monstrous form, she strikes them both on the head with her hammer while thinking, "No, don't look at me." You see that? Everything's coming together. That's how they got knocked out. And just, my god, this face is actually horrifying. Kyoko immediately regrets her reaction and screams, scared that she may be losing her humanity. She picks up Kana, holds her tightly, and runs blindly down the hall. But then Kyoko just puts her down randomly without even realizing she had done it, which apparently was under the school in the cave bunker thing, so that's how Kana got there. Kyoko starts having a harder and harder time remembering anything. Each passing moment brings her closer and closer to mentally matching her monstrous appearance. She begins to feel inhuman desires inside. Something is lying at her feet and her mind is too far gone to identify what it could be. I had to eat it. It looks so delicious. I forced it into my mouth. It was so tasty. What was this? I remembered. I had to eat more. Now, the chances of the kid you bullied in elementary school surgically turning you into a pig monster so that you become a mindless husk that eats worms on the ground are low, but never zero. So don't be taking that chance. Just, be nice to people, especially if they're named Yuichi. Kyoko loses herself completely. Her human consciousness is totally gone. That is, until she bumps into Earl, who's horrified, which brings her back a little bit. With her human mental state just barely hanging on, we get the scene of her and Kana together that we saw from Kana's perspective. Let's conserve the world's resources and save energy. Brought to you by Idea Factory. The only real difference in the Kana scene is that right after it, Kyoko picks up a box of matches, thinking that she could use them to stop Yuichi. To explain how the school keeps lighting on fire in some endings. The rest of Kyoko's story is just bumbling around as a monster, lurching down the corridors, being a revolting nightmare, a disgusting beast crawling around a school in the dead of night with awful noises erupting from her throat. You can even pick what noises she makes, such as guru, or if you're feeling a little frisky, guru, uiki, ow, now. What the hell am I doing with my life? Anyway, Kyoko, as to be expected, also has a bunch of endings that don't actually matter because we don't have the puzzle solved yet to get the real ending. She lights her matches near the gas tank to get revenge on Yuichi in most of them. In one ending, she emerges from the burning school and a police officer sees her horrific form and shoots her dead. In another ending, it turns out that Kyoko is a horror novelist and all of this was just her writing. In one ending, Yuichi just literally says, "No, I'll never forgive you," and the game ends. And then there's my personal favorite ending, where Kyoko accuses Yuichi of being an alien out of nowhere. This shocks him and he's like, "What? How did you know that?" Suddenly, a ball of light sucks him in and flies off into the sky. Kyoko literally just goes, yep, well, this game is weird, so I guess that doesn't surprise me. fuck it, he's an alien, why not? Next character, Hideaki's story. Just one more to go until we get the truth. This is the route where we'll actually be able to start putting together the puzzle. Blah blah blah, everyone meets up at the school, Hideaki pranks Earl. Yuichi makes everyone suck down a cold one before going into the school. And when Yuichi mentions the time capsule, Hideaki thinks to himself, have fun looking for it, loser. Apparently he came by the day before, dug up the capsule and hid it somewhere else. He also admits that he's the one that left the bugs in the hole, but also he says that they're disgusting rubber caterpillars, so what the fuck was Kyoko eating? Just like before, the juice makes his little tum-tum start to hurt and he desperately seeks out a bathroom whilst proclaiming, damn, I'm going to shit myself. Yuichi injects him in the neck and he passes out on the toilet seat. Much like in Kyoko's story, Hideaki wakes up in the surgery room. Yuichi, very clearly out of all of the characters, hates him the most. He says, Hideaki, wake up you moron. Listen, from now on, you're my slave. You bullied me for 6 years, now it's time for my revenge. Well, any objections, Hideaki? Now, of course, transformed into the featureless doll monster, he says, no master, I am yours to control. I am a slave now. Okay. Yuichi goes on to say, I removed your ability to think for yourself. You cannot do anything without my orders. Unless I say so, you cannot talk, eat, or even move without my permission. Even if you are in pain, unless I order you to do something, you'll just have to suffer. So yeah, I mean, you know, things aren't really looking too good for our boy Hideaki. As we already know, Yuichi orders him to go and collect Earl. Interestingly enough, the game gives you several opportunities to disobey Yuichi's commands. However, anytime you choose an option that isn't exactly what he tells you to do, the game kind of takes over your screen and says, slaves cannot make choices. Hideaki obediently bows and then continues on his quest to go and find and bring in Earl. Along the way, he has a bit of an internal crisis, saying things like, this is horrible, this is so sad, what will happen to me, and that being treated this way is humiliating. Please remember to conserve the world's resources and save energy, brought to you by Idea Factory. Found Earl-kun. And as usual, Earl gets brought to Yuichi, who then demands that Hideaki go and open up the gas cans in the back room. Now, Hideaki's endings are a combination of actually relevant and useful, but there are also the usual completely fucking random endings as well. In one, Yuichi grabs his hand and literally drags him to hell. In another, Hideaki just turns into a giant caterpillar for some reason. Like, I get that he's kind of associated with caterpillars throughout the story, but like, how does he turn into one? I don't. He's already a fucking doll monster. There are a lot of other random ones, like Hideaki randomly falling to his death, Yuichi blowing up the school and killing everyone, killing Hideaki with his mind control, everyone just dying in the fire. I think that these random non-canon endings are kind of fun, but the issue is the game never actually shows you them. It's literally just text, and even the text after a certain amount of endings just becomes one sentence. I think this is obviously mostly because each character has so many endings, like each different route has usually around 13 plus endings. I think Kana's has the least, and I think that's still 8 endings. It's pretty crazy how many fake endings there are in this game. However, unlike the other characters, Hideaki's route gives us some hints about where the story of this game is really actually going. In some of these different endings, you can find fragments of Yuichi's wish letter. There are 3 pieces. The first says the ka, the second says a lie, and the third is Earth is. So if we put on our thinking caps, we can easily deduce that what was written on Yuichi's wish paper all those years ago was, the cake is a lie. You see, the whole meaning behind Misfortune is that the entire thing in this whole video was just a setup for me to make a cake is a lie joke in 2026. I miss when conversations online about gaming were just the cake is a lie and took an arrow to the knee, and I think we should bring those things back instead of just being mad at each other all the time. In Yuichi's story, the mystery is finally going to come to a close. Yuichi's favorite pastime is breaking the fourth wall and talking directly to the player. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm talking to you. You out there enjoying this game. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. The endings you've seen up until now have been complete and total fabrications, outrageous lies, all of them. The real game begins here, an excitingly cruel game Sorry, I don't know what that laugh is supposed to sound like. Ah, it's almost time. I better go and meet those fools waiting for me at the school. The drinks laced with anesthetic are ready. What's that? Perhaps you think I'm committing some sort of crime? Don't say you think I'm evil. I chose yes because, to be honest with you, this little guy kind of scares me. You're a very perceptive person, aren't you? Well, you'll certainly appreciate my work tonight. By the way, excuse me for asking, but have you ever been bullied? My brother in Christ, you've seen the way I act in these YouTube videos. Of course I've been bullied. I'm sorry to hear that. I was bullied for 6 years. Elementary school was horrible. It ruined my mental health. Well then, let me ask you this. Have you bullied someone else? Well, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna be totally honest. I have. I feel like Yuichi's gonna kill me now. In my defense, I wasn't like super mean. You know what I used to do? I used to round everybody up in elementary school, and I'd be like, all right, everybody, this is the activity for today. We're playing Beanie Babies, and if you don't like it, you're gonna pick up that Beanie Baby and play anyway. Like, you think I'm kidding, but I was genuinely an activity tyrant.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Yuichi says, as you play this game, something will become etched into your mind. You won't be able to forget it. Well then, let's continue. Oh my fur and whiskers, I'm late. Late for a very important date. Blah 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 blah, Yuichi meets everyone at the school, gives them the drinks, and heads inside. If I hide in here, they're sure to find me. I just have to wait. In the time being, I'll fill up these syringes with more anesthetic. What do you think? It's a cunning plan, right? Yuichi, I'm gonna be for real with you, it just seems kinda basic to me, like anybody could have come up with this plan, but you know, you do you. Well, just watch. It'll be a laugh, I assure you. It's about time. Now I'll scream, ah! Pretty exciting, don't you think? You're having fun, aren't you? Kyoko and Hideaki get drugged and turned into Yuichi's monsters as usual, but this time we get a little bit more insight into just how severe the bullying actually was. Hideaki apparently used to put caterpillars in his lunch. He'd throw his shoes into the toilet, cut up his notebooks, and trap him in his own locker. For Yuichi, school was nothing but pain, fear, and sadness. Yuichi constantly checks in with you as the player to see if you're relishing in the revenge like he is. Hey, you out there playing this game, are you enjoying this? Feeling refreshed, are we? Let's conserve the world's resources and save energy, brought to you by Idea Factory. Earl gets captured and brought to Yuichi, again like usual, and we're at the point in the story where endings would normally start happening. The type of endings that we know for sure are not canon and are totally fake and made up. Which means it's time to start figuring out what's really going on in Misfortune. With the real ending on its way, something really interesting happens. And before we take a look at the real ending, we need to talk about what happens with Misfortune right before it. The tone shifts a little bit, like Misfortune is kind of annoyed. It knows that the story is going somewhere that players won't like. It knows that the ending that you've replayed the game over and over and over and solved puzzles to get isn't very good, but not intentionally. It's not purposefully bad. I really don't think that the game started out on a quest to just be slop. Someone cared about this. Think about the director of the game stating that the time during this game's development was nothing but basically misery. It feels a lot less like no one cared about this story and more like the devs started getting really burnt out. This is why Misfortune starts to get very frustrated with itself just before the conclusion. This is what causes Yuichi to address the player and tell them that he resents them basically for talking bad about the game or leaving a bad review. Yuichi knows that it's coming before the game ever even released. It's very strange because Misfortune starts to take on this feeling of, look, we know that this is fucking bad, but we worked really hard on it and there was a lot of hours put into it, so just, you know, fuck you. Get on with it and give us the bad review already. From this point on, Yuichi keeps bringing up a curse and vaguely threatening you. Lots of comments like, curses are terrifying, you know. It's too late for you, my friend, even if you turn the power off. We're now down to the final couple of choices in the game. Now, I've replayed Misfortune a billion times by this point to get the hints that tell us the curse is a lie. So what do we do with that information? Well, Earl starts guessing what it is that Yuichi had written on his wish in the time capsule years and years ago. It's up to us as the player to use this clue to figure out which of Yuichi's endings is indeed canon. The first guess that Earl can make is that Yuichi wrote that he wished everyone would die. Please die? I wished for everyone to die? Really? Do you think I wanted them to die? I mean, come on, Yuichi, that does kind of sound like something you would say. Huh? Is that what you think? However, when I wrote everyone, I meant everyone. That includes you too, you out there playing this game. Game over. Okay, well, we just got killed, so I'm guessing that's not the canon ending. If you guess that everyone is cursed is what he wrote, he responds, because we were cursed from the beginning. Game over. I'm guessing he means this in like the edgelord, life is a curse kind of a thing, but I don't really know. If you guessed that he wrote "Everyone please get along," he actually has like a legitimate crash out, yells at you saying that that's not what he wrote and that he's a sexy genius. He's nothing like those idiots. It's a game over for you. Nice try. If you guess "Everyone please forgive me," he goes on to rant. "Everyone please forgive me. I did many horrible things. I'm so sorry, everyone. You thought I'd write that? You fool. I will never apologize. Seriously, think about it properly. You failed. Game over." If you guess that he just wants to make it all end, he's like, "You know what, you little bitch, maybe that would be for the best. In that case, shall we just end the game right here? I'll fucking turn it off. That's a game over for you too, idiot." If you keep guessing, eventually he just straight up tells you that what he wrote is a mystery and that he'll give you a clue, and then you can fill in the blanks, and the blanks fit the curse is a lie thing. There's a couple more stupid guesses you can go through, but it's time to reveal the true and canon ending. The reward you get for playing the game over and over and over, finding the clue and figuring out what it means. The ending that pissed everyone that played it off. Everyone please stop lying. Yes, everyone was lying. This is all just a made-up story to make the game interesting. Well, do you feel better now? Now the lies have been exposed, let's just end the game here. And then it just closes the game. Yep, that's it. That's the canon ending. That's legitimately the real, actual, seriously, that's how they decided to end the story. Everything is made up. It's just a story. It's not real. Which, like, I mean, of course it's not real, but let me go over why this doesn't work. Number one, I don't think there's ever been an audience on Earth that has ever accepted the "everything was a dream" or "it's not real" ending. Yeah, of course the story wasn't real in the first place, but that just makes it feel very unsatisfying. Like, you want an actual conclusion to your story. But the biggest reason this doesn't work is because a lot of the fake endings said the same thing. Oh, none of this is real. It's just hypnosis. It's just Kyoko writing her horror novel. It's all just a dream. There's a lot of none of this ever actually existed in the first place type endings. So why did we go through all of that just to get another ending that says it's not real when there's already multiple of them? That's the real issue. Now, what do I personally think about this ending? Well, obviously I think it's unsatisfying and I think that people are right to be annoyed by it. However, I think that the premise of the game where you go through a bunch of fake endings to try to find the real one is really, really interesting. I think it's a good concept. I like the game. I like the idea. And I think ultimately what the problem is that the writers kind of wrote themselves into a corner. What ending could you have possibly come up with that would have tied all of that together, made sense, and satisfied the player? Basically, they came up with the concept of this going through fake outs to figure out what the real one is without first figuring out where it could go. Because when the climax of your story is figuring out what's real and then you just go, "Oh, nothing is real," well, you didn't say anything, or you know, it's not good. So what do you guys think? Even though this game just totally wastes and disrespects your time, even though it's weird just to be weird, even though it's repetitive and honestly just kind of bad at times, do you think there's anything redeeming here? Because that's a really big debate around the few people that have played this game. Some people see it as just a completely worthless pile of dog shit. And I'm over here in the camp that's like, yeah, it is a worthless pile of dog shit, but you know what? I kind of like it anyway because it's charming. It's really funny sometimes. I like how random and strange it is. The atmosphere is really, really good. I think that it actually genuinely becomes creepy and uncomfortable at certain parts, which is kind of hard for a visual novel style game to actually do. So yeah, I think it's bad, but I like it anyway. There's almost a little part of me that almost just kind of appreciates the ending in an ironic way. Like, damn, this game really had the balls to resent their player while also knowingly rug pulling the ending like that. You almost have to respect it. It's also very interesting to see the developer's perspective in this game. The way it's written to kind of sympathize with them, the people working on it, like, you're the mean one for not liking it. You're bad for criticizing it. There are a lot of dev studios that still feel this way in 2026, and they just express it in different ways rather than just outright stating it like Misfortune does. Now, I regret to inform you all that there is indeed a sequel to this game, like there actually somehow is a sequel. I will gladly cover it and tell you all about it if it does get translated into English. It seems like the person that translated the first game is working on it, so yeah, we'll see if that ever comes out. Shout out to Who Was Phone 404 for doing this translation work. It's a ton of work and often thankless, so thank you for all of your guides and walkthroughs and all of that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching and making it all the way to the end of this goofy video. If you enjoy the content and want to see more, please check out the second channel. It will be linked below. I post random stuff that doesn't fit here and gameplay videos over there. And if you're feeling particularly generous, also check out the Ko-fi link where you can help support the channel monthly or leave a one-time tip. One of the monthly options makes your name shiny in the Discord server. Ooh, ah. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring, and remember to use my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get your free champions today.